How are you doing, everyone? I'm bringing the rainbows today on my top. Hey, who remembers these t-shirts from In Colourful Company? And also an amazing, one of my favourite rainbow brooches from Jade Boylan. I've had this little beauty for years. Look, it's wooden and it's painted rainbow. Jade made these for my old business, Lucky Dip Club. It's years old and it's still just as vibrant. It's one of my favourites. Anyway, hello, how are you all doing? Morning. So I'm here today with member Mark from MarcoLooks. I guess I should invite you to join me, Mark. Let's do this. Da, da, da. Mark, there you are. Send. Morning, morning. Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? Rainbow there. And a little hidden rainbow under my dungarees as well.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? I'm wearing rainbows too, sort of.
Yay! And I was
I
just
thought,
saying, I've got a little hidden rainbow under my
oh,
dungarees.
lovely.
So Mark is a member of Indie Roller and he's here today to join us to talk about learning lessons from past careers.
Yeah.
I just want to apologise, Mark. Did I get your pronoun correct then?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
checking.
Thank you for checking.
Mark, if you could introduce yourself to everyone watching and also tell us what your past career was, because that's probably a good place to start.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm Mark from MarcoLooks. I'm a designer, illustrator, creator of things. All the work I do is predominantly designed to help remind you how magnificent you are. So that's kind of the angle that I try to take with everything.
I need it, Mark. I'm taking it all. I'm taking all the vibes.
I'm sending it. I'm sending it. So in terms of careers, I don't really know where to start because I'm one of these people that if you name a job, I've probably done it. So I feel I've always regarded my life career journey as I've got this tool belt, and every job that I do, it's all helping me because I'm adding an extra tool to it, and so that is kind of helping me go forward, if you like. So of my main careers, the careers that I talk about, the careers that I'm really open talking about is I used to work in the West End. I used to work in theatre. And then I used to work in children's animation. So I was making cartoons for CBeebies. But the career that I never talk about, and I don't know why, I have this weird sense of shame about it, I don't know why, is when I work in the corporate world doing B2B marketing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet there are some skills there that are transferable.
Well, it's so bizarre. So because what I came to realise doing my indie biz stuff.
Oh, we should just say what B2B is.
Sorry.
Obviously, we try and be jargon free in Indie
Yeah.
Roller.
I've got all these notes here what I want to talk about, and I've actually put crossed out and put business to business. So I was working in I was operations manager for a large call centre, and we were phoning schools. So we were a business contacting another business, a school, effectively. And we were working for high profile publishers around the UK. So they were our clients. And so what I came to realise now is that when I'm doing my indie business stuff, they just lacked accountability because I was my own boss. There was no one telling me what I should be doing, where I should be going, what to do. I was making up those rules. And I just found it all very lonely as well. Obviously, I meet colleagues and fellow makers, I say colleagues, other makers in the area.
Yeah.
But still, when you're actually doing the work, when you're there in the studio, it can be really lonely because it's just you. And if you don't do that thing on the tick list, it's just you that answers to that. There's no sense of accountability. And so I was doing lots of reflecting, like how can I fix this? What can I do about this?
Yeah, which tool can come out of the tool belt, right, Mark?
Exactly. And so what happened when I was operations manager, I was looking after 40 staff, and 4 team leaders. And so I was reporting to the managing director, and then all the team leaders and the staff were reporting to me. And so that was the kind of the cascade chain. And so the way that I used to help improve figures, help improve engagement with the company, just to build us all working for the same purpose, was I did three main things. Number one, every day we had a meeting. We had what we called a huddle. And so I would huddle with the team leaders and tell them where we are for the week, where we are for the month, where we are and what we need to achieve that day, what the client is expecting, what we can do, and share all those ideas to really kind of frame the day right from the start so that everyone knows, what we need to do.
And feels part of something, because I think that's the
Absolutely.
important thing. I think when I hear that, I think about you probably feel part of something and you can see what the overall objective is. And as someone who has worked with independent business owners for many years now, I can see that kind of, many of us will get really micro focused in on the day-to-day things that sometimes haven't gone right. And then it's that thing, isn't it, of being able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. So what you did there in that business is you did that. You started the day off by bringing everyone together physically and like focusing on what to do today, but also looking at the bigger picture. Absolutely. I love that. So let's just stay on that first point before going. I'd like to dig a bit deeper on that, because I love that. And I wonder now, how can an indie biz owner recycle that concept and adapt it into a room that they work in on their own?
So what I did was I looked at those things that I was doing. So I was doing meetings, and I thought, what tools do I have at my disposal where I can kind of replicate that sort of activity? Because obviously I can have a meeting anytime I want with myself, but again, it doesn't matter if I don't do it. So what I started doing.
But so where does okay, I want to dig into that. You said it doesn't matter if I do it, but why does it matter? Why are you going to kind of almost like say to yourself, this does matter?
I think just for a sense of pride and sense of purpose, and just so
purpose. You've hit the nail on the head. For a sense of purpose, right? Like, no one else is going to do it for us. No one else is going to give us a sense of purpose in our own business. We have to do that for ourselves.
Yeah, and it's.
I'm not too sure about the pride. I think maybe that comes afterwards. I'm not too sure. I'd love to hear a bit more about pride, but I can definitely I feel the purpose part of it. Like saying, I'm going to do this each day to give myself purpose. And then maybe from the purpose comes focus and how you feel. Then maybe the feeling is the pride at the end of it, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could delve psychologically into so many different kind of facets, but I think so what I created, I started holding Monday morning meetings on a Monday just to Instagram Live, and that was my accountability.
Love it.
So what I do is I just share what I've got on this week, what I've been up to, and I just share it all. Then on Friday, at the end of the day, I do a Friday debrief where I talk about how it's gone. And that is exactly what I used to do as well. So back in the corporate world, I used to do the huddles, but then I would do a Monday morning meeting to the whole organization, because I was the one talking to the client. They weren't. And so I had to kind of transfer that information, and also the client's excitement, to get them excited as well. And so I was almost like I was that middleman. And then on Fridays, I would talk about how it's gone. And I would also celebrate success every Friday. So I would organize things like, we would do like employee of the month, employee of the week. I'd make up awards and prizes, and we'd play games all throughout the week. Who can get to X amount of target by a certain time, those sort of things. And so with my Friday debriefs, I've translated that as I do Friday shout outs as well.
Right.
And so I just say out to Instagram on a Thursday or on a Friday morning, I'm doing my Friday debrief. Who wants a shout out? Either tell me your business or nominate a business you like. that you're really supporting at the moment, that sort of thing.
And so I guess like moving on from almost the what now, because the what is like, I get the what's happening, but I'd love to know like, is doing so instead of like holding the morning meeting and the debrief like on your own,
Yeah,
like without doing it on social media, you're saying you do it on Instagram because I'm guessing that gives you the accountability and other stuff. So tell us
that's
about
it.
the difference it's made in how you feel behind the scenes as a business owner doing this kind of like this the Monday morning meeting and then the Friday shout outs, which is essentially because that's what we're here to talk about, taking those transferable skills
Yeah.
across. What difference has it made, Mark, for you?
It's made a huge difference for lots of different reasons. It's really helped me build a sense of community with everyone, and I say that anyone who joins my meeting becomes my colleague, and so we are in this thing together. So we're working almost like a common purpose, um, and it also frames really nicely the opportunity for me to talk about any sort of promotions I have coming up. Um, Whereas before, I was thinking, oh, right, well, I've got a market coming up next week. But I always felt a bit weird by just popping on Instagram and saying, oh, just to let you know. Whereas when I do my Monday morning meetings, I can just put that in like, oh, and by the way, next week I've got my market. That means I need to get
Yeah.
XYZ prepared. And what do you think about this? Should I do this? Let me know what you think. Drop me a comment, those sort of things. Um,
So it's given you a framework.
Absolutely,
Because that's what
absolutely.
you were saying at the beginning. You were saying like when you start working on your own, you're not part of a corporate structure, which is what you're talking about. A corporate structure, a cog in a machine, however you want to put it. When you go and work on your own, you don't have that
Yeah,
pre-built structure anymore.
absolutely.
And we have to create that structure for ourselves. So for me, going live with an indie roller member every Monday at midday, this is structure for me because I love, I'm just the on the scale of the introvert
E-
outrovert, no, what's it
Extrovert.
called, introvert extrovert scale, I go really between the two. And what I
Yeah,
realize is
yeah,
being able to do this on a Monday, it gets me fired up for the
yeah,
week ahead. It reminds me why I'm doing this. I
yeah,
was in my pajamas 10 minutes ago, and now I'm here chatting to you and remembering why I do indie roller.
yeah.
So I love that. I'm just going to read out some of the comments because this is going down a storm, Mark. So Ludicrous Prince says, fab idea. I should do this. The struggle is real and being accountable, open and transparent will be a really good technique to adopt. Yeah, absolutely. Love this. I love this. I miss having colleagues. Love this. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had colleagues for nearly 20 years now, so I can't really remember what it's like to have colleagues. But I know that a lot of our members have had colleagues very recently, or they still do
Mm.
at one of their jobs, and then they don't have colleagues in their independent business. So I wonder, can I pick a tool from your tool belt, Mark, about this idea of if we don't have colleagues and we miss them,
Mm.
like how can you take a transferable skill and move it across to the business for that one?
How can I create the sense of colleagues? You
Yeah.
mean?
Because
Well,
what is a colleague? It's like someone to chat
yeah,
to without too much thought, to have a bit of banter,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And those are sort of things that I really miss, especially in lockdown. I really felt in lockdown because I also have another job where I actually have colleagues. And so the lockdown really kind of brought that home this time last year, that I'm not interacting with people, but I want to have a meaningful interaction with people that also helps the business as well, that also helps me with what I'm doing. Um, and I just treat IGTV and lives and Instagram like I'm talking to my colleagues, like
Yes.
I'm talking to people. So whenever I do my Monday morning meeting, I even do Wednesday tea breaks, so I call it Wednesday waffle, as if I'm at the like water cooler. Well, the kitchen counter, where you
Yeah,
go and
yeah,
get
yeah,
tea.
yeah.
And you'd hope to go at a certain time, so because you know that like Esther from the office will be there and she's a really good laugh, and so you hope
Yeah.
to, and
Or you
so
might send a cheeky email going, I'm going to make a cup of
yeah,
tea.
exactly. And so I started doing those on Wednesday. But when I do them, I really visualize that person there. So I'm not talking to my phone or hey everyone. It's very much, hi Esther, you okay? I need to tell you this.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like you said, it's like banter, but it's also meaningful. Like it
Mm.
means something to you, and I think it does. Even I, I always kind of say like Facebook groups for a while were like the water cooler for me. But I think the issue with Facebook groups is there's no tone of voice.
Mm.
And I'm quite sarcastic in real life. And I like to just say the things like, I like to speak the truth.
Yeah.
But then you'll see on my face that I'm with you when I say it.
Yeah.
Can't do that in a Facebook comment.
No.
And that's what I really struggle with, because then I just find that I turn really serious, and then sometimes it like comes across as maybe
Yeah.
like preachy. I'm like the least preachy person ever. I'm always just like, do what you want, like let's chat it
Yeah.
out. What are your ideas? What would you love to do? And I think that kind of comes across when you're actually talking to someone,
Yeah.
rather than,
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to bring like my whole thing about Facebook groups into Instagram, but I'm struggling with them again, I have to say,
Mm.
in not being able to feel like I can show up as myself and have a bit of banter, not take ourselves so seriously as well,
Yeah.
for goodness sake.
It is tricky because so many things get lost in translation when it's just text
Yes.
based. But when you're face to face, you see the emotion, you see the expression, and the massive benefit of doing all of this is that it builds trust with everyone watching.
Of
So
course.
people know. I feel like people know me,
Yeah.
or at least getting to know me or know me better than if I just never show my face.
Yeah.
And and so all of those things, it's a win. It's a win-win because I I want to feel like I've got colleagues and that I've got a community, and all these things are doing that. And it's yeah, it's been transformative. I say a lot of things have been transformative in the last year, like
Well, no,
with
I
business,
think
but
it has, Mark. And, it's about connection, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
absolutely,
real connection. We're hardwired for it as human beings. It's innate to us to
yeah,
desire connection. And for years, I've been selling online for so long now. And to a certain extent, I do feel that connection online. But after obviously what's happened for the past year, I mean, I tend to think always in the bigger picture of my business. I always have done. So I'm already thinking of 2022, which I know I wouldn't really usually mention in indie roller because it doesn't
love
usually
it.
go down well. But that's just the
Yeah,
way my thought process works and what I
absolutely.
enjoy. And I'm thinking in 2022, I want to get out there. I want to get this. I want to get a bus. Well, I've got a camper van, but I want to get a bus and roll out there and see people's faces. And
Yeah,
actually, like in real life, like I'm really like longing for that now. And I realized that it's obviously after being in oh sorry, that's my surgery texting. My GP, I got called for the vaccination yesterday, but anyway.
oh great.
So I think it's about connection is what we're talking about here, whether it's a
Yeah,
colleague, community, essentially it's people. Right, people that we get to chat to on
yeah,
social media, whether they're a customer or a fellow biz owner or both, like that does something to us. I think it's that internal encouragement
yeah,
that you don't necessarily get when you're an independent business owner working on your own in a room.
yeah.
That connection, that encouragement, and feeling seen and chatting is so lovely. I want to dig onto your second point now, because that first one was great, Mark. You said you had 3 tools.
Oh, well, no, the three main things. So every
Yeah.
Monday, every day, I do the huddle.
Oh, the 3
The
things
three,
that you, right.
yeah, yeah. And so it was, it was just bizarre to me that I was taking comfort in going back to the corporate routine. Obviously, I'm not saying that as indie businesses we need to develop a corporate routine, but that framework, like you said, that just completely just changed everything because I knew like on a Saturday afternoon whilst I was out and about before lockdown, I could think, oh right, Monday I'm doing the Monday morning meeting. Oh, I'll talk about that and make a quick note. And
Yeah.
then in the Monday morning meeting, I'm planning the week. And then it gets to Thursday, and I think, oh, I need to talk about this in my Friday debrief. So I want to show something. So it just all kind of looks after itself. And then before you know it, the colleagues that I've created become my cheerleaders as well.
Sure,
And so
absolutely.
it's
again, it's human nature to root for someone,
Yeah,
right? Like if we feel that connection. And something that came to mind when you were talking there is I think what you're talking about, as well as like framework and structure, which I know for some people, because obviously I've talked to many independent business owners, they don't feel drawn to those words because they feel that that's what they left the 9 to 5. That's they left that
absolutely.
behind at the 9 to 5. So what we're talking about is habit. We're talking about when we develop our own habits or our own, oh, there's another word for it that I really like and I can't think of it right now, but let's stick with habit. And it builds that comfort zone. Habit is about building our own comfort zone because then we know what we're doing. And like you've just
Yeah.
illustrated all of this so beautifully. So
Oh,
I use the term framework quite a lot. I like it. It works for me. But remember, play around with the language that you
yeah,
use in your own business. If this is turning you off, think about habits. Think about what it is that you would really like to enjoy doing on a regular basis. Two, hold yourself accountable in the gentlest of ways possible, because if we had no accountability, shit don't get done, right?
exactly, exactly, exactly. It's
Oh, here
and
we go.
I think,
Vivid Wire. Claire says, creating your own commute routine. I love this. I've got a friend of mine years ago who's self-employed graphic designer, and he always used to he used to get dressed, leave the house, buy a paper and a bottle of milk, and come back home again because it
yeah,
basically got him up, dressed, out the house, fresh air, quick read whilst making a cup of tea, and then to the desk.
yeah,
And he said that it was almost like he just clung to that routine
yeah,
to get him going each morning.
yeah. It's little things like that. It's just to kind of, it's almost like you're tricking the brain, but in the most comforting of ways to just help make the next step.
Right. In whatever way that works for you. Astral Tide says, I put jeans on today and I feel like a real person. Oh, here we go. Vivid Word says, I put lippy on to make me feel like I'm actually going to do some work. I used to have work shoes that I put on, but I'm quite into being barefoot now. Maroon Mate says, I miss colleagues so much and love this approach. It sounds like you're really having fun with Instagram. Amazing. Yeah, Mark, this is so inspiring. Indie Roller Meetup. Yes, Ice Cream Lady. It's coming your way. 2022.
In the indie roller bus.
Yeah. Just going through all of the comments. There's so many. Sorry to not keep up with them. All loving this concept, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, Leona, I also struggle to interpret tone. I'm always worried about what I say, others say. Yeah, for me, it really holds me back in my
Mm,
business as a whole. I speak very openly about it to try and help myself get past that. I joke about it. You know, Mark and I are both huge RuPaul fans. I've already watched my episode of today. I still do try to watch an episode a day. And I just find them so inspiring.
yeah, well, RuPaul, I don't want to be glib or anything about it, but because I've been a massive fan for years. I used to live in America, and we had the drag queens like around us when we go to the bars way before Drag Race. And in the early episodes, he would just say things, and she'd have this podcast talking about it, and all these words of wisdoms would just fall out of her mouth, mainly because she's been through so much therapy. But what's happening is when she's saying that stuff, we all think she's saying it to us, and she is, but she's really saying it to herself.
Oh,
And
100%.
so it's that sort of recycling. We need to just keep going and keep sharing the stuff, because we keep hearing it and feeling it and
Yeah.
repeating it, and
Every single
that's what
phrase
some of my
that I
quotes
say
are.
all the time, the whole keep going thing.
That was
That,
RuPaul.
yeah, so good. It's
What
one
other
of my,
people think?
that's beautiful, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Anyway, I know that you've got some really exciting stuff coming up, Mark, that I would
Yeah,
love to hear more about. And I
thank
think
you.
that it's going to go, I think that we'll have many rollers that will be really interested as well. So
Well,
spill the tea.
there's been a few that have already been quite interested. But so I wanted to build further this sense of community, because I started out as my indie business as a printmaker, and we used to do these things called print exchanges, where you would print a series of prints and you'd send them out to each other, almost like chain letters. But
Nice.
I just came to realise there isn't really anything like that I've been able to latch onto within the non-printmaking world. So for illustrators and artists. So I've created Print Swap.
Say it again,
Which is
print
this.
swap.
Yeah, the MarcoLooks print swap. And so basically what it is I am setting up an exchange program where any indie artist that sells their work, that's the crux of it. You have to sell your work in some capacity, but that could be just 2 listings in an Etsy shop. It could be that you go to your local market and you sell your work. It's quite loose, really. And I they will send me 6 A5 prints, and then I'm going to keep one of those, and then the other 5 are going to be distributed to everyone else who's taken part in the program. And then that 6th print is going into an exhibition, and that's going to be in North Yorkshire. I'm really excited. When I was talking to some directors and things of art establishments, because it's been quite tricky with lockdown, and the Rural Arts Centre in Thirsk, they've given me their courthouse, and so that's where we're going to have our show. But there's also a few other things that, since I announced this 2 weeks ago, there's been some other things that are bubbling with other groups that want to show the work and want to get involved. So there's going to be more announcements coming.
Tour! We want a tour!
There's
tour!
there are a few things in the works, and so, but we've got lots of time. So the deadline at the moment, although it's probably going to be extended because of all these other things going on, at the moment the deadline is the 30th of June to send me your prints, and then I'm going to start the actual exchange. So the exchange itself will happen kind of end of summer. You'll receive the prints back end of summer. So there's loads of time to think about what print you want to submit, and that's
And
that's
tell me, Mark, what's the motivation to do this? How did you come up with the idea, and why did you feel compelled to make it happen?
Well, I just thought that it just didn't make sense to me that it didn't happen, because in the printmaking world, it happens regularly. I was always invited to printmaking exchanges. Like, this exchange is happening, the 2020 program.
And why do you think? Is it to build community?
I think. Why do I think it happened?
Well, you said it didn't make sense to you that it didn't happen, but it does happen in the print world. And I just wondered why it happened in the print world. Why do you think this concept is popular?
I think it happens in the print world. It could be lots of reasons, and I'm just speculating because I haven't actually really asked why it happens there and nowhere else. But my perception of it is that when you're printmaking, the work you create is it's more unique, it's more highly valued, because you're making that print and it's one of a kind. And when you do a limited edition, that's it, that's done. And so it kind of carries more value. And so when the customer buys from you, they're buying something really special. So if you can give that thing that's really special to your colleagues, your other printmakers, it's just like a really sweet thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's probably about community building. It's about probably preserving the handmade nature in like, I obviously love digital printing, love all types of printing, but I do think that there are certain sectors or certain ways of creating products that are they take more time, they're more intricate, to really celebrate that. I think it's about celebrating it as well. Really getting like-minded people together, celebrating your art, making friends. Honestly, the moment you told me about it, I just thought that is beautiful. I absolutely love it. Well, and so the deadline for people, well, first of all, Mark, where should people go if they're interested in taking part?
So for anyone that wants to take part, just go to my website, which is MarcoLooks.com. I think you can see it there. I put it in backwards, so you should be able to read it on the live.
Look at this, we got a professional on our hands here.
This is back to front. All my prints are printed back to front, so you can see it live. MarcoLooks.com, sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. MarcoLooks.com. If you're on a desktop, go to the top right hand corner of my website where it says print swap, click on that. If you're on a device, go to the menu, and it's just a drop down that says print swap, and it has all the information, including how to take part, loads of frequently asked questions, talks you through the whole step, the whole process. That's how
the outcome in, like, say, like a year from now, and you're looking back on having made print swap happen. What are you hoping to have achieved?
I just want to it's almost like an extension. So what I do with my prints, I want to remind people how special they are, and that evokes that emotion of that, like, I was gonna say it's adrenaline, cortisol, just the rush when you get that sort of feeling. And
Endorphins.
endorphins. That was it. Endorphins. You get those endorphins. And so what I'm hoping is that when someone opens their print swap and they get their allocation of prints, that they start to feel excited because they're going to discover new artists they've never heard of. They're going to probably get something from someone they have heard of that perhaps they've never bought from before. And so now they've got one of their prints, and they're going to have this mini network that I've created of 5 prints. And I'm just hoping that I can help connect a few more dots with everyone. And yeah, and there's going to be something else I'm working on for other people, so there'll be something physical to have as well with the whole of the print swap.
It sounds so exciting. It sounds like you've got so much fun planned for everyone that's going to take part in this. It sounds like you're going to deliver a huge dose of connection for people and discovering artists. And this is just incredible. We will support you every time you post. We will share it.
Thank you.
I will do a link in this IGTV, and yeah, I love this. I'm all for independent business owners kind of creating community projects. I think it's so inspiring and exciting.
Thank you
so much for joining us, Mark.
Thank you.
What one tip would you like to leave us with? Maybe you have a print that you can show us with what some of your wording that you'd like us to end the video on.
I think probably this one I've already shown you, and I kind of vaguely messaged it to you earlier, didn't I? But I was talking about something else. But what other people think of me is none of my business. And when I latched onto that, when I really grasped that, it just unlocks a door. Yeah. And it's so easy to just get tied up in, I can't do that because they're going to think that, and if you can't control how other people feel about you and how other people feel about things. So it's none of your business. So don't pay it no mind.
Yeah, absolutely. That phrase equals freedom.
Yes,
when you
absolutely.
Truly digest, and I have to say it's practice. I probably have to say it to myself every day. Like, I used to think that I would read a phrase, identify with it, and be like, right then, all sorted. And then I was like, oh, it comes back, the other thoughts. So it takes practice. And that's what I love about RuPaul, going back to RuPaul. But I love it being fun as well. And that's what we try and do at Indie Roller. We try to make this stuff feel fun so we can practice it. Because when we think something regularly, that's when it becomes a belief. But it takes time for that to go down. But complete freedom. Thank you so much, Mark.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Ludicrous Print saying such a good print. Tom Coford, here. iClear Organics, great thinking. Slinky, you are right, Mark. And Rue, obviously. Near screen prints, all the hands up and a fist bump. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I don't know, but I think this might have to be my last ever Monday IGTV live thing, because we just can't get the captions to work. And I don't want to put content out anymore that isn't accessible through captioning. So we're going to think of another way to do this. I've got rev.com linked up to my Zoom, which is live subtitling. So I'm considering taking this Monday Meet the Roller chat over to Zoom and then beaming it somewhere live. But more thoughts on that soon, everyone. Thanks, Mark. Take care.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Leona.
Bye.